God said, kill that weak version of yourself, the one that hides behind excuses, with the one that finds comfort in repeating old stories, the one that chooses the known cage over the unknown freedom. That weak version does not belong to the destiny you are meant to live. You were not created to exist halfway. You were not placed on this earth to survive with a lowered head, carrying the weight of fear like it is your identity. You were created to stand tall, to breathe deeply, to walk forward with the power that was already placed inside you. But that power remains buried as long as you keep feeding the weaker side of yourself. There are always two voices in you. One whispers, not today, not now, you are tired, you are not enough. The other commands, rise, take one step, do not let yourself sink into the shadows. Which voice wins? The one you feed more. If you feed the weak version, your body will shrink, your spirit will bend, your life will echo with regret. But if you starve that weakness, if you cut its supply, if you let it wither, then the stronger self will take its rightful place. Killing the weak version is not about violence toward yourself. It is about discipline. It is about truth. It is about refusing to let lies control your destiny. Weakness is a pattern you repeat when you forget who you are. Strength is a decision you make when you remember what you carry. The weak version loves comfort, but comfort is not peace. Comfort is a slow poison. It tastes sweet in the beginning, but it robs you of movement. It steals your fire. Peace, on the other hand, comes when you align with truth, when your actions reflect the depth of your spirit. When God said, kill that weak version of yourself, He was not asking you to erase your humanity. He was calling you to strip away illusions, to tear down false shelters, to abandon the habits that chain you. Weakness clings to the past. It repeats. You have failed before, you will fail again. Strength interrupts and answers. I am not who I was yesterday, and I will not remain who I am today. Weakness waits for perfect conditions. Strength moves with what it has, even when the night is dark. Every day you wake up, there is a battlefield inside you. You may not see it with your eyes, but you feel it in your choices. You feel it when you decide to rise with the alarm or sink deeper into sleep. You feel it when you choose to speak truth or remain silent out of fear. You feel it when you stand against temptation or let it swallow you. The weak version of yourself does not fight hard. It prefers surrender. But surrender to weakness is betrayal of the gift of life. The breath in your lungs was not given for surrender. It was given for movement, for courage, for becoming. The weak version wears masks. It says, I am fine when you are not. It says, I will start tomorrow, though tomorrow never comes. It says, this is who I am, as though your soul was designed to stay small forever. That mask must be torn off. Weakness hides behind blame, pointing fingers at others, convincing you that you are powerless. But strength says, no one owes me my life. No one owes me my discipline. I will not wait for others to build what only I must build. To kill the weak version is to stop negotiating with your excuses. Excuses are soft chains. They do not look dangerous, but they hold you prisoner. They keep you within invisible walls, walls you built yourself. You must break those walls. The hammer is your decision. The strike is your action. The freedom is your persistence. The weak version lives in your mind, in your words, in your habits. It is the shadow that follows you until you turn around and face it. And once you face it, it trembles. It cannot survive the fire of your discipline. It cannot survive the clarity of your truth. It cannot survive the weight of your courage. But that courage must be chosen again and again. Weakness does not die in a single moment. It dies in the small moments you refuse to give it life. If your body aches, weakness says, rest, avoid escape. Strength says, feel the ache and still move forward. If your heart feels heavy, weakness says, close it, protect it, hide. Strength says, open it, trust it, let it carry you. If your path looks uncertain, weakness says, stay where you are. Strength says, step, even if the ground appears in the last moment. Killing the weak version is not easy, but what is easy has never built anything eternal. Weakness is built by habits of ease. Strength is built by habits of discipline. If you want the life that God whispered into your spirit, you cannot carry weakness with you. It is extra weight. It slows you down. It blinds your eyes. That is why you must let it die. Not with hesitation, not with regret, but with certainty. The weak version is not your friend. It is the thief that steals silently. It is the voice that makes you believe you are smaller than you are. It is the mirror that shows only scars, never strength. You do not need that mirror anymore. Smash it and see yourself in truth. You are not here to live half asleep. You are here to walk awake, to live awake, to fight awake. The weak version of yourself is the one that bends to every impulse. It is the one that chooses the easy road, the path already carved, the road crowded with those who gave up their fire. But there is a call inside you that does not rest, a call that whispers even when the world grows silent, rise. That call does not speak to the weaker you, it speaks to the warrior you have been hiding. Every time you listen to weakness, the warrior shrinks deeper into the shadows. Every time you choose strength, the warrior steps forward. And the truth is, you cannot serve both at once. You must choose. To kill that weak version means to recognize it first. See where it lives in you. It lives in the hesitation before you act. It lives in the fear of other people's opinions. It lives in the moments you silence your own voice just to please the noise around you. It lives in the excuses that sound logical but are really chains. When you recognize it, you will no longer confuse it with yourself. You will see it as the shadow it truly is. Shadows cannot exist without light, and you are the light. There is a fire burning in the core of every human being. For some, it has become so small they no longer feel its warmth. For others, it rages and consumes everything false. That fire is not lit by accident. It is divine, it is eternal, but weakness throws dust over it, trying to suffocate it. Weakness whispers that the fire is dangerous, that it is safer to live cold, safer to remain unnoticed. Yet, deep inside, that your soul cannot be satisfied with safety alone. Safety without purpose is a prison. Every great change in life comes with sacrifice. You cannot carry the weak version into the next chapter. The old self must die for the new self to breathe. Just as a snake must shed its skin to grow, you must shed the patterns that belong to the weaker you. If you refuse to shed, will you remain trapped in an old shell that no longer fits? And when you live in what no longer fits, you suffocate. Killing the weak version is not cruelty, it is renewal, it is rebirth. Weakness loves to remind you of your failures. It replays the mistakes, the falls, the wounds. But strength looks at those same moments and says, "This is my training ground. These scars are not shame, they are proof that I endured." Weakness says, "Hide your scars." Strength says, "Show them. They are my evidence of survival." Weakness attaches your identity to failure. Strength detaches it, showing you that every failure was simply a teacher. When you look at the world, you will see two kinds of people: those who have killed their weak version and those still feeding it. The first walk with clarity, even in storms. Their steps may be heavy, but they do not stop. The second walk in circles, chasing comfort, never reaching depth. You must decide which one you will be. It is not a decision made once, it is a decision repeated daily. Every morning, when your feet touch the ground, you either rise as the strong self or crawl as the weak one. The weak version of yourself is afraid of silence. It runs from stillness because in stillness the truth is revealed. In stillness, you hear the whispers of your calling. That is why the weak version drowns itself in noise, constant distraction, constant escape. To kill it, you must dare to sit in silence. You must dare to face your own reflection without flinching. And in that silence, you will find the strength that has been waiting. There is no strength without discipline. Discipline is the knife that cuts the throat of weakness. Without discipline, weakness thrives. It grows in unguarded hours, in wasted days, in careless choices. Discipline is the act of choosing the higher road, even when the lower road is wide and easy. It is waking when you wish to sleep. It is speaking truth when lying would be safer. It is taking the step when fear begs you to freeze. Each act of discipline is a strike against the weaker you. Do not expect weakness to surrender quietly. It will resist. It will fight. It will disguise itself as kindness, telling you, "Take it easy. You deserve rest. You have done enough." But you know the truth: weakness does not care about your well-being. It only wants to keep you from transformation. Do not be deceived. Real rest comes after work well done, not before. Real peace comes after battles fought, not avoided. The path of killing the weak version is lonely at times. Many around you will not understand. They will tell you that you are too hard on yourself, that you should just enjoy life. They say this because they are still feeding their weak selves. They are uncomfortable when they see you rise because your rising reminds them of their own surrender. Do not bend to their voices. Let their misunderstanding be the sign that you are walking a different road. Killing the weak version also means mastering the mind. Your thoughts are seeds. The weak self plants seeds of doubt, fear, hesitation. The strong self plants seeds of courage, clarity, determination. Whatever you water will grow. If you water doubt, you will live in paralysis. If you water courage, you will live in momentum. Every day, examine your thoughts. Ask yourself, Is this thought feeding weakness or feeding strength? That question will cut through illusion. You must also master your body. The body is the vessel through which the spirit moves. A weak body makes it easier for a weak self to control you. A strong body strengthens the spirit's command. Discipline in how you treat your body is not vanity, it is preparation. A body that can endure sharpens a mind that can endure. Train your body not only for health, but to remind the weak self that you are in command. Killing the weak version is also about forgiving yourself. Weakness thrives on guilt. It repeats, you failed before, you are not worthy. But when you forgive yourself, you rob weakness of its favorite weapon. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting, it means releasing the chain that keeps you tied to the past. When the chain breaks, weakness loses its grip, then you are free to move forward without carrying the corpse of yesterday. There will be days when you feel like you are losing. Days when the weak self feels heavier than ever. But remember, the strength you seek is not built in days of ease. It is carved in days of struggle. When you feel resistance, know this: resistance is proof that you are growing. The weak self will never leave without a fight. Its resistance is confirmation that you are already on the right path. Weakness thrives in darkness. Shine light on it. Speak truth even when your voice shakes. Stand tall even when your knees tremble. Weakness cannot breathe in truth. It suffocates when you expose it. That is why honesty with yourself is the ultimate weapon. Be brutally honest. We admit where you have fallen. Admit where you have hidden. Admit where you have lied to yourself. Weakness dies in honesty. Strength thrives in it. The weak version of yourself fears change. It tells you, stay as you are. At least it is familiar, but familiar chains are still chains. Comfort zones are still prisons. To kill weakness, you must walk willingly into change. You must embrace the unknown, not as an enemy, but as the birthplace of growth. Weakness says, what if you fail? Strength replies, what if I rise? You must decide if you want to live as a prisoner or as a warrior. Prisoners serve weakness. Warriors kill it daily. The choice is yours, and no one can make it for you. Not your family, not your friends, not your teachers. Only you. Every day, in small decisions, you decide which version survives. Do not underestimate the power of these small decisions. They are the strokes that carve the sculpture of your life. The weak version of yourself loves to wait. It waits for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect opportunity. But perfection is an illusion. The strong self does not wait, it acts, it builds, it begins with what it has and trusts that more will be given along the way. If you keep waiting, weakness wins. If you act now, strength takes its place. To kill the weak version is to reclaim authority over your own life. No longer ruled by fear, by doubt, by hesitation, you stand as the master of your path. But mastery is not a crown you wear, it is a practice you repeat. It is the daily act of choosing strength even when weakness knocks at your door. Some days you may stumble, but even in stumbling, you rise again, because killing weakness is not a single event. It is a lifelong journey. When you finally strip away the excuses, silence the doubts, and step beyond the weight of your own hesitation, You come face to face with the truth of who you are. The weak version of yourself was never your destiny, only a shadow you carried for too long. The voice that told you to remain small, to stay comfortable, to wait for tomorrow. It was never the voice of your purpose. You were created for more, designed for more, destined for more. And every time you choose to rise, every time you act with courage, every time you move forward, despite the trembling, you bury that weak version deeper into the past where it belongs. What remains is the self that was always waiting, the self that walks in strength, that breathes in truth, that carries the fire of resilience. The command was clear: they kill that weak version of yourself. And when you do not lose anything worth keeping, you awaken everything worth living.